Greetings and welcome to the next video for May. Now in this episode we're going to be doing something a little more on the hardware side of things. What I have here is I have this early 2006 Core Duo. Yes, this is a Core Duo, not a Core 2 Duo MacBook, early 2006. And what we're going to be doing with it is we're going to be doing a little bit of an upgrade. Now, I am going to try to make the quality of this video a little bit better. I want to try to improve my camera work and whatnot, so here's what we're going to do. This will be, and I'm going to try out the new chapters if I can on YouTube because I've always wanted to give that a try. So this will be the introductory chapter, and hopefully I can get it to work. If not, well, then you'll just see a regular video. But let's get on with the show here. So, introduction, we've got a 2006, or early 2006, Intel Core Duo MacBook. This was released in around January of 2006, and it was one of the first Intel-based MacBooks before when Apple decided they wanted to go from PowerPC-based processors to Intel processors. And now they've abandoned Intel entirely for the Apple Silicon, but you know what? We all know why they did that. Enough said. Anyways, we'll go ahead and take a look at the machine here. So it looks like a pretty standard MacBook. There was also a black color model, not to be racist or anything, but yes, there was a black color model of this, you know, obviously, and you know, so that's. But yeah, that's just again, no racism intended, because I know with sensitivity these days, you know, you got to be careful. And obviously, I'm a pacifist myself. I would never make racist jokes on this channel. But whatever. I just have to make that disclaimer. Anyways, we got the MagSafe port here, which was a new thing. This replaced the little barrel connector that Apple used to use. 10100 Ethernet. This actually might be, I think this is actually gigabit Ethernet, believe it or not. Mini DVI, FireWire 400, two USB 2.0 ports, line in / microphone in here, headphone TRS jack here. On the front, you've just got the remotes, the IR infrared sensor for a front row remote. You've got, yes, remember front row, remember that. You got the power sleep indicator light here. On the right-hand side, you have the optical drive. The right-hand side, you got the optical drive, and on the back, you've got nothing. On the inside, go ahead and zoom the camera in a little bit. On the inside, you've got a trackpad with multi-touch gestures. For instance, it's got two-finger scrolling, single button here. You have your QWERTY keyboard here, eject key, pretty standard Mac keyboard, power button here, and then here you have a 13.3-inch glossy widescreen display. And of course, they used to call it it is now called a FaceTime camera, but back then this was called the EyeSight camera. And one common issue with these MacBooks, that didn't happen on one side, but is that this was a defect with these that Apple actually admitted and initiated a repair program for back in the day, is that the plastic here on the palm rest would detach around these areas. Over here, that didn't happen, but over here it did. So you can kind of see just how Apple kind of dug themselves in a hole there. So here's the plan with this computer. We're going to go ahead and boot it up, and I'll show you what it's running, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with it, because we have a special project for the month of May. Now, again, I'll go out on a limb by saying that May was always one of my favorite months of the year, and yes, you can that flashing folder icon is the reason we're going to be doing something to this computer, maybe smashing it with a hammer. No, I'm kidding. I'm not playing Rock 124 or Garrett Claridge here. But, anyways, yeah, what we're going to be doing is that obviously means that flashing folder icon means that the hard drive on this computer is probably failing, and it won't surprise you when you see what kind of hard drive it is, because these things are notorious for failure. By the way, just FYI, I am running this off the battery. Yes, this 17-year-old battery in this computer amazingly still holds a full charge. So yes, you can still use this computer as a laptop, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, So we've got Snow Leopard, and the reason we cannot go to Lion on this computer like the later Core 2 machines can is because Lion requires a Mac with a 64-bit CPU. Unfortunately, the Intel Core Duo, again, I'm not talking about the Core 2 Duo, I'm talking about the original Core Duo, is not a 64-bit chip. It is an x86-based processor. So unfortunately for us, we cannot upgrade any higher than Snow Leopard, because Snow Leopard was the last version to support 32-bit processors on the Mac side. Of course, Microsoft, on the other hand, supported x86 architecture until Windows 10, but this is not Microsoft we're talking about here. Anyways, go ahead and go to the System Profiler here. Go to About This Mac. So we're running macOS version 10.6.8. 1.83 gigahertz Core Duo, 2 gigs of DDR2 RAM. Pretty self-explanatory. Go ahead and fire up the System Profiler here. Zoom out a little bit. So we got a MacBook 1, which is the original early 2006 Core Duo MacBook. 1.83 gigahertz Core Duo, like you just saw, 2 gigs of DDR2 RAM. We'll go ahead. This does have Bluetooth. Unfortunately, the Bluetooth module in this computer has failed. It doesn't matter because I'm not going to be using the Bluetooth in this computer. I'm just going to be using wired earphones with it, so I really don't care about the Bluetooth. Maybe at some point I'll try to go in there and see if I can replace the Bluetooth module, but the problem is I think it's actually soldered to the logic board, so if that's the case, please let me know in the comments if that's the case, because if it is, then screw it. But if it's not, I'd like to go in and replace the failed module if I can. Okay. So as far as disk burning, we do not have a super drive. I'll just go ahead and show this. We have a combo drive, but it can read DVDs. So that's what Apple called the combo drive. The super drive could write DVDs. This cannot. This has a combo drive, as you can see. Check out the Ethernet, and yes, I was correct. It is gigabit Ethernet. I sort of figured that because this computer's from 2006, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't lying to you guys. Whee! Please ignore what I just did. I'm just trying to be humorous, and it's not working out so well. I'm sounding like a complete buffoon. Anyways, for graphics, we got an Intel GMA 950 with 64 megs of VRAM, 1280 by 800. Wow, I told you I can't talk today. 800 resolution, 32-bit color. This is the main display, of course. We don't have an external display connected. It doesn't matter. 2 gigabytes of RAM installed, which I believe is the max that these early 2006 models can handle. I believe later models could handle up to 4 gigs, but this one I believe is limited to 2. But again, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Anyways, we'll go ahead and take a look at Serial ATA. This is the reason we are going to be doing what we're doing to this computer. That right there. Toshiba! I cannot tell you how many Toshiba drives have failed on me, okay? I'm going to go out on a limb and say Toshiba, while they made damn good computers back in the day, their hard drives freaking sucked, okay? I'm serious. Their hard drives were absolute trash. Like, literally. I have probably had I've been working in IT since I was 9 years old, okay? And that was in 2006, around exactly the same year this computer came out, okay? And I remember, I was 9 years old, okay? So in my 17 years of working in IT, I have probably encountered at least 10 Toshiba hard drive failures and maybe about 8 Hitachi hard drive failures. So if there's 2 brands that I used to tell people to avoid like the plague back in the day when it came to hard drives, it was Toshiba and Hitachi. I'm sorry to say, but I have a very strong resentment for Toshiba and Hitachi drives because my clients who were sort of, well, you know, I mean, I told them to back up their data, you know, some of them at least. I had clients that just blatantly refused to back up their data, and then, of course, they paid the price when the click, click, click noises started. But, the problem was, you know, you just had to, you know, the problem with these Toshiba drives is you always had to be on high alert with these things. Because you never know when they're gonna fail. In fact, I even had a Toshiba hard drive from an iBook G4 that practically internally detonated on me. I'm not even kidding. I literally powered the computer up one day, I hear this horrible whirring noise, and then all of a sudden I hear pfft, like glass shattering, and yeah, the platters exploded. The head somehow shattered the platters. And I don't know how it happened, but it did. And it was a Toshiba drive. And I ended up having to put an IBM TravelStar 6GB drive in there, and I called that computer the Netbook G4 because it was an iBook G4, and I installed I did a minimal install of macOS Tiger on it. But yeah, Toshiba hard drives flat out suck. I'm sorry, but they do. They are probably the number one. They're probably the number one brand that for in terms of hard drive failure. So that's notorious for failure. That is. Anyways. So, and you saw the flashing folder icon when the computer started up, which means that hard drive is probably not so healthy. It's a 60 gig drive, by the way. So what are we going to do to address this problem? Well, easy. We're going to SSD this bad boy. Now, what kind of SSD did I pick for this? Well, I have this lovely Kingston 120 gigabyte SSD that I literally had laying in my parts collection. I ordered this, and it was supposed to go in another computer, but then that computer died on me, and it was a motherboard failure, and it wasn't worth fixing. So, we're going to be doing the honors and putting it in this computer. Oh, damn it! But seriously. Let's get on with the project. So the first part of the project is to bring Lila back because she's always curious as to what I'm working on. She'll be my supervisor for this project. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up some of this black residue on the bottom. Yes, I took this laptop to work a couple days, and somehow we got this black gunk on the bottom, so I'm going to take an alcohol wipe and just clean that up a little bit. That is just disgusting. I'm just going to speed this up. In fact, I might actually get more rubbing alcohol instead of these alcohol wipes. I might just get my actual isopropyl alcohol and just go to town on this thing. Okay, well the alcohol wipes didn't work out so well, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some IPA and just completely clean this bottom part of the computer. Yeah, and I'm also probably going to get some Goo Gone and see if I can clean that sticker residue off, because that is hideous. Anyways, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up the battery compartments. Now, this computer does have a dead PRAM battery, but that is quite all right. Just use a coin to turn the battery. And then the battery simply, uh-oh. I think that residue was, battery stuck. Oh, great. Oh, great, I have a functional battery and it's frickin' stuck. Wonderful. Well, it's supposed to lift up like this. But instead I'm pulling the cover off the battery, so let's see if I can get it out. Oh, there we go. Okay, phew. Alright, I was going to say, please don't tell me the damn thing is just adhered in there. Alright. Okay. Back on the horse. Alright. Go ahead and get our handy screwdriver here, because the next thing you'll need to do, let me just zoom the camera in. You'll notice these screws, if the camera will focus, there's 1, 2, 3 of these screws, and I believe there's a fourth one. No, I'm sorry, there's only 3. There's 3 screws. So we're going to have to take these 3 screws out, and this will give us access to the RAM and the hard drive. So here we go. Yeah, remember when Apple made it really easy to upgrade RAM and hard drives and all sorts of shite in their computers? Yep, not anymore. Anyways, okay. So now we've removed that. I need some light on the subject. There, that's better. Okay. So there you can see there's our two RAM sticks, our two 1 GB DDR2 RAM sticks. Now I'm going to take the camera off the tripod for a second here. I'm just going to zoom out. Make you guys seasick for a little bit. But right in there, that's the hard drive. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set the camera down here on the bed. And Apple made it very easy to pull the hard drive out. You simply take the tab and take a dump on the toilet. No, sorry. You just pull the hard drive out. And there is our lovely Toshiba 60 GB hard disk drive. Wonder if there's a manufacture date on there. 60 gigabytes. I do not see a manufacture date on here. Oh well. Alright, anyways. I now need a T15 Torx screwdriver, so let me grab my other screwdriver set, and I shall be right back. Okay, I have acquired the appropriate screwdriver, so here we go. Commence fast forwarding. Alright, so now the fun part has just begun. Yes, because installing the SSD is one thing, but we have something considerably more exciting than simply just installing the SSD on this thing, or in this thing rather. So let me go ahead and clean up my work area here. And we'll get started with the next part. Okay, now that we have the hard drive installed, this is the part that everyone gets excited for. Installing the OS. Aw, yeah. So how are we going to do that? Well, you know me being old school. We're going to use this totally legit Snow Leopard DVD. And the first thing I got to do is actually plug in the power, because I do not believe it'll let us install on battery power. So we're going to go ahead and put in the DVD and hold down the C key. And for those who don't know, this is an old Mac thing, but when you what you would do is to boot off of a CD or DVD on a Mac is you would hold down the C key until you saw the Apple logo, and then when you see the Apple logo, that means you're booting off the DVD. Score. Alright. Now this process is pretty lengthy because basically, yeah, we're booting off of a DVD. So this is gonna take a while, kids. But while you wait, you can listen to the sounds of the the combo drive. Sounds almost like Morse code. All right, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, and then we'll come back when we're at the setup screen. All right, we are at the language selection screen. So we'll go ahead and actually, is there Hebrew on here? No, there's not. Dang. I was hoping there'd be Hebrew. Because for those who don't know, yes, I am looking at making Aliyah in a couple years. Anyways, so first of all, we're going to go to this moment of truth, kids. Got to make sure that disk is actually detected. So we're going to go to Disk Utility and pray. Plug and pray. I'm praying. Hey, there we go. 120 gigabyte Kingston SSD. Woo! All right, breathe a sigh of relief, kids. Something actually went right for once. The disk was actually detected. Holy crap. Okay. We're going to go ahead and create a partition. Call it Macintosh SSD. We'll use OS Extended Journaled, and we'll use all of the available space. Partition. It's always a good sign when you open up disk utility. When you open up disk utility, and you see that your new hard drive is detected. Whew. All right, Macintosh SSD. All right, let's go ahead and close out a disk utility. Continue. Okay. Apple Incorporated Software License Agreement for Mac OS X. Please read the software licensing agreement carefully before... Alright, we're going to install 2 Macintosh SSD. We're going to customize our installation because we have a much larger drive now. Well, for Snow Leopard, that is. We want Rosetta, and we're going to install QuickTime. Actually, no, we don't want QuickTime 7. But I definitely want Rosetta. I do not want printer support. We'll go ahead and do additional fonts. Let me actually see if Hebrew is included on this. I don't think it is. No, it's not. Okay. Well, that's a pain in the balls, but whatever. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and just do the the installation we're going to do. Boom. Here we go. Installing Mac OS X on the disk. Macintosh SSD. Woo. All right. So sit back and relax while OS X installs. Oh yeah. Remember Aqua? Yeah, good times. Good times with Aqua. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here and play WeedLavania.wmv as a tribute to Duraga because, well, even though today's April 22nd is the date of recording this, forgot to do Weed Lavania and smoke weed on 420. So, anyways, yeah, I honestly hope Duraga's okay. I don't. For those who don't know, I actually don't have Twitter. I don't use Twitter. So if I seem like I'm a little bit behind in the times, it's because I kind of am because I don't use Twitter. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and let this install, and when we come back, there will be a surprise. Alright, so about half an hour later, the installation was successful. Woo! In the meantime, I was actually looking at Zoom because I'm actually doing a Hebrew class, because for those who don't know, I recently went on Birthright, and I'm doing a Hebrew class, and apparently Zoom does still support macOS Snow Leopard, theoretically. But I don't think that's true, though. I think they actually did drop support. But I need to be quiet now because... Oh, the computer's restarting. I was going to say, I need to be quiet now because this is the best part of the Mac OS X installation. Well, it used to be part of the best part of the Mac OS X installation when on older versions of the OS. And I was just having my late lunch, too. So you got to hear me chew for a little bit. But after the computer restarts, get ready, because here it comes. The whole reason everyone wanted to buy a Mac back in the day. Mac in the day. Oh my God, that was a horrible pun. Here it is. I'm going to be quiet. Oh yeah, the intro video. Yep, I remember reading the YouTube comments back in the day and reading, everyone's like, oh my God, I want a Mac because of this. They're like, Windows doesn't have this. Anyway, okay.
Mac OS X includes a built-in screen reader called VoiceOver. If you know how to use VoiceOver, press Command F5 now to turn it on and set up your Mac. If you would like to learn how to use VoiceOver to set up your Mac, press the escape key.
Wow, okay. I forgot that Snow Leopard had voiceover. I completely forgot that Snow Leopard had that. Alright. US. We're not going to transfer information. I have a flash drive to do that. That's just freaking nostalgia, watching that freaking intro video. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and connect to my compatibility network. Configuring your computer. Oh yeah, enter your Apple ID. How about no? Okay, yeah, registration. So you can actually register your computer, but if you press Command Q, you can skip it. Ha ha. Yeah, I'll put a password, why not? Don't look! Actually, you can't see my keyboard, so it doesn't matter. And yes, I'll just go ahead and make a fake hint. Okay, time zone. We are in the Eastern time zone, not Raleigh. We are near New York. Don't forget to register. Enjoy your Apple computer. I wonder if you actually did register Snow Leopard, like what Tim Cook would actually think. It's like, Snow Leopard? Who the hell's installing that these days? Anyways. Alright, there's the desktop. So now, we're going to install, as we say in Hebrew, Kama aplikatiot, which means some applications. So I've got my handy flash drive here. Go ahead and plug this sucker in. Oh, you know what I just realized? It may not have drive... Oh, no, never mind. Okay, I was going to say, it may not... Because this is an old version of... Yeah, okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and take our installation CD out. Or DVD, rather. Set that to the side. And we're going to go ahead and copy these applications to the hard drive. I've got Arctic Fox, an old version of VLC, the Unarchiver, and Stuff It Expander. In order to do that, we're going to let's see if we can mount this Office Mac installer. Oh, indeed we can. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Let's try to install Office 2011 for Mac. Does this require a product key? This is the standard version. Let's see if this will actually work. I'm curious. It's probably going to ask me for a product key, which I don't have. So if it does, well, I'll have to go pirate one. Or find a crack activator, because I seriously doubt that Microsoft is still activating Office 2011 for Mac. But there's a couple things I wanted to install on here, because I did have Office 2011 on my old MacBook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install the Standard Edition, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attempt, and yes, this is, I said attempt, to install Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 on here, because you may have noticed during the installation that I installed Rosetta. Now, Rosetta, for those who don't know, or weren't around at the time, Rosetta is an application that translates PowerPC applications to Intel applications. And this is why Snow Leopard is a good choice if you need to run PowerPC-based applications, because starting with Mac OS X Lion, Rosetta was removed. Yeah, so if you try to run a PowerPC application on Lion or later, you'll get an error message that says, sorry, you can't run this because PowerPC applications are no longer supported. And so that's the dilemma you run into. So in essence, what you need to do is simply either have Snow Leopard. Now, the good thing with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 is there is a patch that allows the game to run, well, the original game, that is, to run on Intel Macs. And of course, they also have RCT3 Complete Edition for Intel. But, oh, so this had Office too? Wait, are you serious? Or Office, sorry. Yes, this is Microsoft Office, and it has Office. Yeah, great. Real... Oh, your copy is activated. Hey, look at that. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay, so apparently this was the pre-cracked version. Good. Good. Exactly what I needed. Keep Office for Mac up to date. Sure, I doubt that works anymore. We won't join the Customer Experience Program. And there we go. Microsoft Office for Mac 2011 is now installed. Woo. Now, for the next product, we need to install Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. Oh. Oh, okay, so to install, you drag it to your hard drive. Okay. I forgot, this doesn't... I'm so used to the PC version, which has an installer, but... No, stop. No, I don't want to I don't want to move the disk image. Alright. We are moving Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 to the Applicazione folder. So go ahead and copy over RCT3. And then I have a few cracks that should help make this work, God willing. There's also the Aspire Game Agent. I forgot that the Mac version of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 was made by Aspire, so... when I was a kid, I always played the PC version because I never had a Mac as a kid, so I had a Dell Dimension 4600C like you saw in a previous video. So, okay. And now we can move this out of the way. Alright, so RCT3 is there. Now we can do revision A. And run the installer. From Aspire, August 2006. Oh man, that's hilarious. August of 2006. There we go. Go ahead and install revision A. There we go. And now, God willing, should be able to run the no CD patch, the Blade. Ooh. RCT3 cracked. Ooh. Now the problem is, there is one problem I've had with this, and I'm hoping that this will fix the problem, or that they fix the problem in this release. Let's find out. Alright, so I went ahead, no. Alright, I went ahead and cracked the game. Alright, so now, let's see if the game will actually run with the crack. Here we go. Oh, yeah, I've got to agree to the EULA first. Welcome to Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. Skip registration. Okay, here goes, kids. We didn't get an error about needing the CD, so let's try this. The animation on that was pretty smooth. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3! One of my favorite games to play as a kid. Let's see what it set our graphics settings to. Medium. Alright, that's not bad. Oh no. We're getting lag on the menus. Yeah, this is a problem I remember my friends who had Macs talking about with playing RCT3 on a Mac. But let's go ahead and start up a scenario here and hope that the frickin' thing actually works. Remember how that dual-core processor made the world of a difference back then? Let's hope we don't run into the problem I think we're going to run into. Alright, so that's correct. Yeah, it's still pretty laggy, even with this patch. We can tone down the graphics settings a bit, and hopefully that'll help. Yeah, this is it's not unplayable, but it's definitely very laggy. So we'll turn off 3D textures. No background mountains. Alright, so if we turn that off, then yeah, then the game looks hideous, but at least then it's playable. But but you have to turn off the textures, so it's like, what's the point? Now here's what I really want to see. I want to go to Gold Rush here because the career mode is kind of broken when you crack the game using this executable. I mean, luckily it doesn't affect sandbox mode, but career mode is somewhat broken. Yeah, yeah, it's the same problem, yeah. Because I think when you get to island hopping, it sort of screws you over. But the game's at least playable, and you can at least play in sandbox mode. But the problem is frickin' oh god. Yes, this does have two-finger click. Let's clean that up. Yeah, see, there's the files, but the problem is... yeah, that's just the problem. Well, unfortunately, it does exhibit the same problem. If anyone knows how to run RCT3 Vanilla on Mac OS X without those problems coming up, let me know in the comments below. But now, we have to do one last thing before we do anything else. Because, one thing I completely forgot to show is we're on Mac OS 10.6 Vanilla. We are on the gold, or the vanilla? We're on the gold release. We need to go up to Mac OS 10.6.8, which is this guy right here. So we're going to install 5 items. We're going to click agree. And amazingly, software update for OS X Snow Leopard does actually still work. So, we'll go ahead and install the updates. And then, that might be a good place to end off the video. Because I know people are used to modern Mac OS and how it updates, but I'm going to show you guys how we used to do it back in the day, even though I never got a chance to do this, because again, remember, I didn't own a Mac back then. I had Windows Vista. So, and Windows XP. But yeah. Needed that grape juice. Throat was bone dry. Ah, yes, the good old software update. Those were the days. Alright, well, it's almost done. I can feel it. I'm just going to speed this up. And so once the download's complete, you simply click the restart button, and then you get this screen. Yep, installing however many items you chose to install. Yep. So I think this is a good stopping point for May's video. So to recap, in this video, we successfully upgraded the 2006 MacBook's crappy, monotonous, and absolutely atrocious 60 gigabyte crap Shiba hard drive to a nice, much faster 120 gigabyte Kingston SSD. We reinstalled Snow Leopard, we installed Microsoft Office, We installed RCT3, I copied some applications over to the hard drive, and so, I think for once, we actually had a project that went completely without a hitch. So this is definitely a win. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. They help out a lot. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you guys not too far in the distant future. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.